7th grade, lesson 5.3. This is applications of percent. There's kind of a lot to this lesson. Feel free to pause at any point if your math brain feels like it's overwhelmed, and then resume later. But I hope to go through it quickly enough, but not too quickly. I'll do my best, I promise, to help you understand this. So it initially starts off by talking about sales tax. And much like in the previous lesson, sales tax is sort of a markup. It just goes to the federal government instead, or the state government instead. So you'd have an original amount of the cost of something, and then there would be a percent of that amount that's added on. So you could handle it exactly the same way as you did a markup in the previous lesson, with the price of the item added to the percent of the rate, the tax rate, times the price of the item to get the total that includes tax. If you just wanted the tax amount, of course, you would just do the percent times the price of the item, and that would just give you the tax. Now, this first example that they give you, they break it down. When you start getting really good at manipulating numbers around and seeing these patterns, you start seeing these things, and they're showing you something that you could use instead if you wanted to, instead of doing this. So I'll show this to you, and then of course you decide which one you like better. So they have this bar model again, but this time they've broken an amount into pieces. We have Marcus, who buys a varsity jacket from a clothing store in Anaheim. The price of the jacket is $80 and the sales tax is 8%. What is the total cost of the jacket? Because they can see that this is kind of going to break into nice, comfortable pieces with each other, $80 and 8%. They decided to use a bar model to find the amount of sales tax. You can draw a bar for the pieces of the jacket, $80 divided into 10 equal pieces, because this is going to be 0.08 or hundredths. Find out what 8% of that is, and they said because 8% is 4/5 of 10, which is broken in, these are in tenths, right? $80 broken into tenths, $8 a piece. Then 4/5 of 10 is going to be 8%. So the tax is 4/5 of one part of the whole bar. Each part of the whole bar is 8, because 8 times 10 is 80. 4/5 of $8 is $6.40. So we find out the sales tax is $6.40. And then to find out the total cost of the jacket, you just add the price of the jacket to the sales price, $80 for the jacket. The sales tax you found was $6.40. Added together, you get $86.40. If this has you going, what? Then just go with what you are comfortable with. You have, in the previous lesson, hopefully you started feeling comfortable with going this route. So take that markup amount. We have the price plus the percent. Well, I'll put the formula here, or what we were using. So we have the price of $80 plus, we know the percent is 8%. Let's go 0.08 times the $80 to find out the tax rate. You would calculate that, and you're going to get 6.4 or $6.40, because we're talking about money. We cross off what we did, bring down what we didn't. And then you're adding, just like you are here, 80 plus $6.40, and you're going to get $86.40, the cost of the jacket plus the tax. You did 8% of 80 to get the tax, and then you just put it together. So if this had you very, very confused, and this was starting to make sense already from the previous lesson, go ahead and keep going with that. The next thing they start talking about is simple interest. Now, you guys maybe don't deal with loaning money or borrowing money as much now as you might later. So I'll explain what interest is, because many of you may not be familiar with what that is. Interest is like the fee for borrowing money, because people don't just let you borrow money and then say, oh, just pay it back when you can, thanks, and have no cost to it. They charge you money to borrow it. Or if you put your money in the bank, you can earn interest. There's a fee that you earn for letting it sit there. And that fee for borrowing money or letting the bank use the money is called interest. And it's usually done as a percentage rate. And right now we're only worried about simple interest. That just means over the year, that's how much interest is made on the original amount that was borrowed. And then over the next year, It's that percentage rate on the original amount that was borrowed over and over again. Later, you'll learn about compound interest, which means simply that over the first year, you have the fee added to the original amount, and now you're getting interest off of the fee as well. So it accumulates. That's something to worry about later. For this, simple interest, I always remember as I per T. I per T, she's saying. She's so purty. And I use that to help me remember whenever I'm talking about simple interest, I just remember I per T. And that means these are just your different variables of the pieces of information you're going to get. This stands for the interest, the fee associated with borrowing money, or lending money, the fee that you get back for it. P stands for principal. That's the initial amount of money that was lent or borrowed or whatever. R is the rate, the percentage rate that you're charging on the principal amount. And T is time, usually in years. So I'll write out those in words so you can see them off to the side, and then we'll put it into play. So I'm going to take you through the way they show us in these steps, and then I'm going to take you through the I per T. You'll see the correlation between the two and the shortcut that takes. Not big shortcut, just a little shortcut. But I think that they develop this way to lead you into where I'm going with it. So Terry, he deposits $200 into his bank account, and that bank account earns him 3% simple interest per year. What is the total amount in the account after 2 years? Underline the question and circle information in there. He puts $200 in. By the way, that's the initial amount put in, so that's the P for principal, the amount put in. He earns 3% simple interest. That's our rate. And then the 2 years is our time. And so those will come into play in a moment. So here they tell us find the amount of interest earned in 1 year. So what is 3% on $200? 3% as a decimal point, 0.03. 3% of 200 is $6. The interest for 1 year is $6. And so for 2 years, it's going to be $12. So how much is in his account after 2 years? Well, he put the 200 in, and then he gets $12 more because 6 years for 1 year, 6 years for another, and that's a total of $212. So they did the calculation for 2 separate years, and on this one that's pretty easy because it's 2 years, but sometimes it might be 4 or 5 and you don't want to be doing it repeatedly. So you could use this to do the same thing. You're taking the interest. If you want to find out what the interest is, you take the principal, which is 200, times the rate. It's 3%. Go ahead and change it straight into a decimal. By now you're probably getting real comfortable with that, 0.03. And then times the time, which is 2 years. You would calculate this. You're going to get 0.06. Bring down what you haven't done yet. And then 200 times 0.06 is 12. And so what we've just learned is the interest that he earns on that over the 2 year period of time is $12. And that's what they found, of course. They did the interest for 1 year, and then they multiplied it by 2. We just kind of did that in one whole swoop. We did the 0.03 times 2 years and multiplied it by the amount. So whichever way makes it easier for you, that's fine. So now we know that the interest is $12, and then we're back here again. He put $200 into his account. He earned $12 in interest. So altogether now there's $212. As long as he didn't put anything else in or take anything else out, he has $212 in there. Okay, and this is just something that takes some practice. So I brought the interest equals principal times rate times time over. Remember, that's I per T. If you're looking for simple interest, the cost of interest, then or what the amount in interest is, then that's the formula you can use. Or, like they showed you before, you can just go ahead and do the rate times the principal and then multiply that by how many years. That's fine too. Ariana borrows $400 on a 4-year loan. She is charged 5% simple interest per year. How much interest is she charged for 4 years, and what is the total amount she has to pay back? They ask me 2 questions here. So I'm going to underline both, that one and that one. What is the total amount she has to pay back? Okay, so I'm going to take my formula. Interest equals the principal amount times rate times time. I guess I better circle the information they gave me. She's borrowing $400. That's the principal. She's doing that for 4 years. That's the time. And she has a 5% simple interest rate. That's the rate. So we will fill in so that we can find how much interest she will have to pay. We'll fill in $400 for for principal, 5% for the rate, but let's make sure and change that over into a decimal, so 0.05. The time is 4 years, and now I can calculate. It's all multiplication, so it doesn't really matter which I multiply first. I'm going to go ahead and do the 0.05 times 4. That's going to give me 0.20 or just 0.2. Then cross off what I did, bring down what I didn't. Then I'm going to do the 400 times 0.2. And 400 times 0.2 is going to be 80. So this is $80 we're talking about here. She has interest of $80. How much interest will she be charged for the 4 years? She's going to be charged $80 in interest. That's the fee for borrowing the money that she borrowed. She still has to pay back the money that she borrowed. So that's the second question. What is the total amount she has to pay back? Well, she's got to pay back the $400 plus the $80 interest, the fee for borrowing the money. So she will have to pay back $480. This one was interest. Interest is $80. She has to pay back the $400 plus the $80, a total of $480. With practice, that gets easier and easier and easier. And then so aside from the I per T simple interest, this also goes into just handling multiple step problems involving those rates. And so don't panic, just take your time, do the steps to get yourself through each of these piece by piece, and just know that it's several pieces to the puzzle. So I'll do 2 practice ones with you, and hopefully that builds your confidence on these. So first step is read it. The Sanchez family goes out for dinner and the price of the meal is $60. The sales tax on the meal is 7%, and they also want to leave a 15% tip. What is the total cost of the meal? So I read it and I'm still like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. What do I do? So let's underline the question. What is the total cost of the meal? So I have several pieces of information being added together, and so let's go ahead and circle the information they gave me. The cost of the meal itself was $60. The sales tax was 7%. And so that's like a markup, remember from the beginning. So I'll handle that similar to a markup. But they're also leaving a 15% tip. That's a 15% of the cost of the meal tip on top of that. So that also would be like a markup sort of a scenario. So I almost have like 2 separate markup scenarios. Let's draw what's going on here because it still seems like a lot. So I'm going to draw one of those little booklets, you know, that they put the bill in at the restaurant. And so I'm going to put $60 on that. The cost of the bill was $60. But I know an added amount is the tax of 7%. And that's 7% of the $60 bill. And then there's also another added amount of the tip, and that is 15% of the $60 bill. So I think what I'm going to do is find out what is 70% of the $60 bill, and then afterwards do a separate one, what is 15% of the $60 bill. So I'm going to do, for this one, 0.07 times 60. I'll do that on my calculator, and I'm going to get $4.20. Okay, the tax is going to cost $4.20. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the cost of the tip. That is 0.15 times 60, and I'll do that on my calculator, and I'm going to get $9. This is the tip, equals $9. Okay, cleaning my room. I cleaned up that corner, and now I'm going to clean up a different corner. Here we go. The bill was $60. The tip was $9. And the tax was $4.20. All together, you add it up, and it becomes $73.20. The total cost of the meal with tax and tip was $73.20. And in order to get that, I had to calculate the tip separately and the tax separately, but that's okay. I knew how to do that. You know how to do that. So you just needed to see it happen. One more practice one, if you need it. All right, we've got Kedar. That's kind of a cool name. I like it. Kedar earns a monthly salary of $2,200 plus a 3.75% commission on the amount of his sales at a men's clothing store. By the way, if you don't know what commission is, it's like a bonus. So you get a certain percentage of what you sell. The selling amount isn't what you earn, is what the store earns, but they'll give you a little bit of what the store earned because you worked hard to sell that amount. So 3.75 commission on the amount of his sales at a men's clothing store. 1 month he sold $4,500 for the store in clothing. What was his commission that month? And how much did he earn in all? Show your work. Okay, they want us to find out what his commission was, the bonus, and how much total did he earn in all. Circle the information they gave us. He always gets the $2,200 as his salary. He doesn't get less than that, but he can earn more than that, getting a 3.75% of his sales for the bonus, and 1 month his sales were $4,500. Let me draw that out. Let's draw a paycheck with $2,200. He's getting that for that month no matter what. So there's really no calculation I have to do on that. But what he can also get, so what we can add to that is 3.75% of his sales for a month, and we're looking at that month where he made he sold $4,500. So what portion of that $4,500 did he get as a bonus? Well, it's going to be 3.75% of that. Okay, so let's find out how much of that $4,500 he got to get. So remember that of is like a multiply. Change this to a decimal, 0.0375 times 4,500. Run it through on your calculator, and you'll get $168.75. That's the bonus amount he made. So this is his bonus on this. So the commission he made that 1 month where he had all of the sales, that he did a good job on sales and they paid him the commission, $168.75 extra on top of the $2,200 that he had already earned. So let's find out first, what was his commission that month? Okay, well, that was $168.75. The second question, how much did he earn in all? This much and this much more. So you would just add those together. $368.75 is how much he earned in all. There's your two answers. I hope being led through that a couple of times helped to start to piece things together, help to start build your confidence knowing you could do this. Just always be sure to take the steps. Read the question, underline what they're asking you, circle the information they gave you, draw or plot things out so that they're making sense to your brain, and then you can start letting your brain decide what do you need to do first, and then do those things. Good luck. I really believe in you. I know you can do this.